High in the snow-clad mountains, where the air is thin and every breath feels like a battle, a group of soldiers moves with silent precision. The sun has long disappeared behind the jagged peaks, casting long shadows across the land. The men, dressed in camouflage and weighed down by gear, are unfazed by the freezing cold. Their eyes remain sharp, their senses heightened. These aren't ordinary soldiers. This is the Ghatak Platoon, one of the most feared and revered units in the Indian Army. To the enemy, their name alone sparks a ripple of dread. Ghatak means lethal, and it is a title they have earned through grit, skill, and an uncanny ability to thrive in the deadliest conditions. They are the first to enter battle and the last to retreat, often pushing deeper into enemy lines than anyone else would dare. In the chaos of war, they are the shadows that strike swiftly and disappear before the dust settles. The journey to becoming a Ghatak is not for the faint-hearted. Soldiers are not just chosen, they are forged. The selection process is brutal. It begins with tests designed to break even the most determined of men. Imagine long marches through unforgiving terrain, exhaustion gnawing at your bones, your body screaming for rest as the biting wind cuts into your skin. And still, you push forward, knowing that every step closer means the potential of becoming part of this elite force. The weak fall behind. Only the strongest, those with minds as steely as their muscles, make it to the next round. But the real trial begins after selection. Here, the recruits are taken to the extremes. They train in the mountains, where the altitude makes breathing a challenge and where every footstep on loose gravel could mean slipping into a deep gorge. They practice jungle warfare, navigating dense, labyrinthine forests where visibility is reduced to mere meters and the threat of an ambush lurks in every shadow. In these environments, they are trained not just to survive, but to dominate. Their expertise in mountain warfare is unmatched. Picture this: an enemy stronghold, fortified and perched on a ridge so high that it seems unreachable. Most units would hesitate. The Ghatak Platoon, however, does not. Under the cover of darkness, they scale the cliffs, sometimes with bare hands and ropes, moving as if gravity itself cannot slow them down. By the time the enemy realizes what's happening, it's already too late. The Ghatak soldiers breach their defenses, swift and deadly. It's not just their strength or endurance that sets them apart. It's their ability to think clearly, even when surrounded by chaos. Combat for the Ghatak Platoon isn't just about overpowering the enemy. It's about precision, strategy, and an intimate knowledge of warfare. They are masters of close-quarters combat, able to fight with rifles, knives, or bare fists. When the situation demands, they move silently through enemy bunkers, clearing them room by room, every action deliberate and calculated. The enemy rarely gets a chance to strike back. What makes the Ghatak platoons so dangerous is their ability to operate independently. Unlike regular infantry, they are often sent on high-risk missions deep behind enemy lines. There, they may be isolated from the rest of the army, outnumbered, and with limited supplies. But this is where they thrive. The isolation sharpens their senses. They navigate hostile territory like predators, using the landscape to their advantage. Whether it's sabotaging enemy supply lines, gathering intelligence, or eliminating key targets, they execute their missions with surgical precision. Perhaps one of the Ghatak platoon's most defining moments came during the Kargil War. The conflict, fought in the towering mountains of Kashmir, demanded a level of warfare that few could endure. Pakistani forces had captured strategic heights, giving them a significant advantage. The Indian Army needed to reclaim these peaks, and they turned to the Ghatak platoon to lead the way. The terrain was punishing: sheer cliffs, icy winds, and temperatures that could freeze a man to death within hours. But Ghatak soldiers climbed those cliffs in the dead of night, their movements soundless. When they reached the enemy positions, they attacked with a ferocity that left the enemy stunned. In battle after battle, the Ghatak platoon proved why they were the best, reclaiming peak after peak. Their success isn't just measured in victories, but in the psychological impact they have on the enemy. For those on the receiving end, the Ghatak platoon is an unseen terror, a force that can strike at any time, from any direction. Their ability to blend into the landscape, to remain undetected until it's too late, has made them legendary. The knowledge that a Ghatak team could be operating nearby is enough to unsettle even the most seasoned enemy soldiers. But behind the legend, behind the stories of daring raids and impossible feats, are men who live by a simple creed: duty. Ghatak soldiers are not driven by glory or fame. They don't seek recognition. What fuels them is the bond they share with their fellow soldiers, the knowledge that they are the tip of the spear, the ones who clear the path for others to follow. Their training, their discipline, and their sacrifice make them more than just elite soldiers. It makes them a brotherhood. The Ghatak platoon's legacy continues to grow. In the mountains, deserts, and jungles where the Indian Army operates, their presence is a constant reminder that no matter how tough the enemy, how treacherous the terrain, there is always a force ready to confront the challenge head-on. They are India's most dangerous warriors, not because they are invincible, but because they are relentless. They are Ghatak, lethal, unyielding, and always ready to fight.